Yep. Yeah, you know.
I'm just gonna say thank you for bringing us out this week to see the game.
Mhm.
It was an absolute joy. Uh, it was my first Edward Waters game. I'm old school. I like to see guys flying around and making hits.
Right.
Defensively, I complete like whatever I thought I was gonna see. I saw your intensity. I saw their intensity and how they modeled your intensity. Like even
Right.
after a turnover, they came. They never lost composure. They came back and they still played hard. So
Right.
kudos for that.
Right. Well, I got to take my hat off to my defensive coordinator and my defensive staff. They do a phenomenal job of setting the tone and putting the scheme in on and just setting the mindset of what type of defense we're going to be and how we're going to play, no matter what. So, I got to give them kudos because they've done an excellent job thus far, and I look forward to seeing even more of our defense play. I've kind of become a fan of it, and sometimes I got to catch myself and be like, "Hey, man, you got to run a game." So, but they're doing a phenomenal job. The young men are buying in, and right now, we're playing some pretty good football on the defensive side of the ball.
All right, so I got to ask the question. I got to ask the question. Well, I'll go with Noah. Noah came back from some turnovers and
Mhm.
delivered some dimes after those turnovers. What did you and Coach Dooley say to him to keep him focused?
Yeah, it's mainly. uh, well, let's just say this: I'm the direct one, and Coach Dooley is the calm one. So, you know, I'm really hard on quarterbacks. I coach them the same way I coach any other position because I demand perfection from them because it's only three people who touch the ball every snap. That's the referee, the center, and the quarterback. So I just told Noah, hey, stop being Superman and just let your other guys help you make plays. And then Coach Dooley got him and calmed him down and got him thinking right. And then the rest of it was history. Noah played the game that he always can play and that we look forward to him playing every Saturday.
Jamie, you got any questions?
Yeah, Coach. It was a pleasure to meet you Saturday. Me and my partner Tanisha Batiste.
Yeah.
You were intense when we walked on that sidewalk right by the locker room area. You were locked in and ready to go. Talk about first and foremost. You kind of reiterated the talk that you had with Noah, but your entire quarterback room does really well when it comes to who you have and pushing the competition with Tony. Talk about BJ Higgins a little bit though, because him coming in the end showed some things coming into that fourth quarter that I don't think people were prepared for.
Right, absolutely, and I appreciate you bringing that up and talking about that. We got three guys, well, really four guys at quarterback. We got a young guy that we're just training now that we think is going to be a tremendous player in the future, and that's Chris Calhoun. But BJ is a phenomenal young man. Comes to practice every day and work, and I tell you what, his time is coming. And then we got DJ Booney, who's another guy that we was able to attract here. And, he didn't fare so well, but I tell you what, shows up to practice and works at it, and he's ready to go. So we can implement him at any time. So our quarterback room is pretty strong. We got confidence in all of those guys. And, we open the competition up at quarterback every Sunday and let the best man win. And I just believe in that. I think that keeps the quarterback sharp and on his toes, keeps him from getting complacent. But our quarterback room is very capable no matter which guy is in there because the expectation is the same, and that's to operate the offense with high efficiency.
Absolutely. Now, I'll throw one more out there before I hand it back to the panel. What challenge does Virginia Union present to you, both offensively and defensively? Because I know, when you're talking about some of the perennial runners in HBCU, in the HBCU space,
Right.
and just D2 and D1 in general, You're talking about Virginia Union. You could call them one of those nicknames, running back U. They just keep replacing them. Talk about the challenge that they present to you, both from an offensive and defensive standpoint.
Just to sum, they're a championship program that have a championship pedigree. That sums it all up, and that lets you know whatever they do well. So, it's a team that has a championship pedigree, so they know how to win. It shows that they know how to handle adversity. They know how to play their style of football or their game in order to keep them victorious. So, they're a tough football team. I got a lot of respect for them. They're very well coached. Their head coach is a phenomenal guy, and he's put together a top tier football program. I've been there. I've done that. So I know what it takes. I know the commitment and the focus and everything that it takes to do it. And to sit back and watch him do it is just amazing. So it's no shocker to me that he's having the success that he's having. And like I say, they have a championship pedigree. They're a championship program.
Coach, Doc, starting out the gate, man, 2-0, and also 2-0 in conference where you already have you have a heads up inside. What do you tell your team right now as far as trying to keep that competitive edge, that hunger for the rest of the season?
Well, the number one thing that we teach our guys to stay focused is stay in the moment. Keep the moment to moment. And if you keep the moment to moment, then you'll always be prepared for the next moment to come. And then we also work our guys during the week to operate on their trained behavior. And if they operate on their trained behavior, then the trained behavior will become instinct. Then instinctive wise, they'll be able to operate, under any conditions. So those are the things that we focus on in order to keep our guys focused. We don't necessarily put it on certain games or certain opponents. We see everybody the same. We see every game the same. And, as far as we're concerned, when we show up Saturday, we have an opponent to play. Whoever signed up, that's who signed up. But, we keep pushing that to our guys. We let our guys know the main thing is the main thing. And during the week, our main thing is preparation. So we believe in preparing to the process and through the process. And if we do that, then, we'll have no trouble keeping our young men focused on what we got to do.
All right.
Ooh, I feel like if I had two good knees, I might sign up for coach.
Well, so I got a question for Coach.
Yes.
Like I know you're saying, like you keep your quarterbacks on their toes. Is there a clear leader in the locker room?
We got several leaders in the locker room. And the one thing I'll say is this. I tell all the guys to be leaders of themselves first, because you can't follow anybody until you're a leader of yourself first. And so I really encourage all of our guys to be leader of themselves first, and then find somebody to follow who can continue to help them get better. And I tell you what, we got a couple of leaders. Some of the guys play a lot. Some of our leaders, play a little bit. Some of our leaders don't play at all. And, what we do is we let our locker room take care of itself. We let our guys, pick their own leaders. And then we go from there. We look at the guys, and a lot of times if we got to pick leaders, we're going to pick all starters. You know what I mean? But sometimes that walk-on kid who gives everything he has and exemplifies, the grind and the work ethic that you want, he's a leader. So, that's how we look at it, but I always tell our guys, hey, be a leader of yourself and then find somebody that can lead you to be better. And thus far it's been working. So we're going to continue to push that.
Yeah, that's amazing. I've always been a big proprietor on building a community of leaders because, if everybody's a follower, how can they grow?
Right.
Because taking a leadership role takes guts. And if you got you got multiple people that's willing to step up, because you understand when you step out in front as a leader, you're taking a lot of responsibility. Like you said, whether you on the field or not, you still have to show up every day and lead by example.
Yeah. And the other thing you got to think about is being a leader is exhausting. It really is. It's tiring mentally and physically. So if you got if you got several guys that are leaders, and each one takes control or takes charge of a different situation or on a different day, then your team will never grow weary or grow tired. They'll always be encouraged. And so that's why we try to push guys, like I say, first to be leader of themselves and then find somebody else that'll lead them to be better.
Thank you.
Okay, I got a question, actually a pretty good question from the chat, asking with 8 weeks to go in the season, how did you rally the team? And I think we talked about it the first time you were on, but how did you rally the team to get them ready for the season?
Well, I've been here. This is my 5th season here, and I've been the offensive coordinator, assistant head coach for 4 years. And I got to take my hat off to Coach Morgan for bringing me in when he did and giving me the opportunity and the openness to have some say so, with the players. And so when this thing happened, familiarity is a big part of it. The players are familiar with me. They know what I demand. They know how I am. And then past experience has helped as well. I've been a head coach at Bethune-Cookman, a great university, a university that's very dear to my heart. And then I've also been a head coach at Alabama State. So taking that experience and then the familiarity and then the opportunity that, Coach Morgan gave me and just putting it together at the time that I was hired, allowed me and the staff that I put together to be able to build something here in a quick time. But, also on the end of me kind of knowing what direction the team needed to go and how to get them there fast, what young men to lean on and push, who we needed to separate from, and then the young men that we needed to bring in that we felt will fit our culture moving forward. All that went into play. And like I say, I was able to attract some guys like Coach Dooley, a great offensive mind, and he's an ex-head coach who has championship eyes. Ernest Wilson, another ex-head coach and great offensive mind who has championship mind. And then Coach Hayes, who was here, I was able to convince him to stay. And he's a guy that has a great championship pedigree. So being able to put a bunch of coaches who have championship eyes and understanding and getting them to stay together. And then, like I say, gaining the trust of the young men has all kind of, developed the potato salad of developing this thing, if I could say it like that.
So I know for me, one of the things that at the end of that game that caught my attention, and I've always been a fan of coaches promoting coaches, if you will. At the end of that game, Vaughn Wilson asked you for an interview.
Yeah.
And about 2 seconds in, you put Coach Dooley on there and you took off.
Right.
That was, and a lot of people don't think that's important, but for me, who's watched black coaches come up and we talk about all these coaching trees, but we don't talk about the black coaching trees. That's an example of how you get coaches new jobs, new opportunities. So I want to say thank you just for that alone.
Right. No, I appreciate that. The one thing that I've learned that, I don't do it all. I can't do it all. It's impossible to do it all. Yes, my name rings out, because I'm the head guy. But the guys that behind me, they're a big part of my success. And that's the one thing that I know it. And I just, I try to promote them as much as I can. So that's not the first time that you'll see that done. I'll say my piece and then I'm going to celebrate with the team. The one thing that I always said, if I got another chance to be a head coach, I'm going to spend more time celebrating with the team and enjoying the moment. I didn't take that time before as a head coach. So, that's why, I try to promote my coaches by putting them in the spotlight and letting people hear from them. And then, another part of it is I want to spend some time having some memories celebrating with my team. So that's the thing right there. And putting Coach Dooley and those other guys in front of the camera in the future.
Anybody else got anything else?
Yeah.
Defense playing good, though.
Yeah, they are. They're doing a good job, and we're not very big, but our motto is so. We may not have all the great things. So, we may not have the best food. So we may not have the best equipment. So, but that's not going to stop us from playing Tiger brand of kick. I'm sorry, of get after.
You had it right. You had it right.
But that's what we believe, and that's what we install in our kids. Nothing should stop you from being able to go out and kick tail. And, that's how our defense takes the field. That's how they practice. And I tell you what, Coach Hayes is, like I say, Coach Hayes is doing a phenomenal job setting the tempo with the defense. And I look forward to seeing them play in the future here.
Well, Jamie, you got another question?
Yeah. I gotta add this in as well. And talking about one of your biggest cheerleaders on social media and just in general, talk about Dr. Faison's presence when it comes to Edward Waters, because if anybody sings the praises and will check media and everybody about Edward Waters University, talk about him for a second.
Dr. Faison don't play, man.
No, he does not.
Hey, Doc sitting there with his hand on it.
I'm telling you, Dr. Faison would come on a Twitter stream with us, and he was talk his talk. Like,
yes.
It not back down from nobody.
Let me tell you something. That's why we call Dr. Faison all the way live, because he all in, man. But I'm gonna tell you something. He's a competitor now. He is a true competitor, and he's a true supporter. And that's the one thing that I'm impressed with him as a president. He's a hands-on guy. Now, when I say that, I'm not saying he's hands-on trying to be in the mix, tell you who to play and ask you all these questions. He's not that. But he's going to be there to show you that he supports you. He comes out of practice probably 2 or 3 times a week and just sits up in the press box and watch us practice. He let us coach, do our thing. On Saturdays, if people know him, you're going to see him on the sideline. You're going to see him running up and down the sideline. You're going to see him dapping the players up. He's a hands-on guy, and I commend him for that, because that lets our players know that he's all in and he's not just all talk. So I really appreciate him. I appreciate the effort that he's given thus far in supporting our program. And, man, I really look forward to having many more years to come and be, working with Dr. Faison.
Good stuff. Good stuff.
Anybody else got any other questions? Because I know the band. We don't want to get coach in trouble with the band.
No, you good. You all good. We're good.
I do. I will say this. I was surprised because when I got there, first, let me go ahead and send shout outs to Uncle Billy, because Uncle Billy is an Edward Waters alum and put us in contact with the athletic department to get coach on. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what to expect.
William Wiggins. William
Wiggins. I know him as Uncle Billy. So when I came, I wasn't sure what to expect. It is a welcoming crowd. The athletic department was welcoming. They fed Marlo. I think that was the most important part for Marlo, was that they fed him as soon as he got there. So as soon as we got through the gate, they made sure he had a plate in his hand. But if you ever want to have an enjoyable experience in Jacksonville, go to an Edward Waters football game. Absolute joy. And